Hey friends, it's Kelly and welcome back to Mama Needs Gold. Thank you so much for joining me today, and if you're new here, welcome. So today I want to share with you a very inexpensive fall craft. It's a very easy and simple craft to do, and I thought that many of you would really enjoy this craft. So I'm going to go ahead and share the supplies with you real quick so you have an idea of everything that you're going to need. Now, first thing you're going to need is a piece of wood or MDF. Now, I found this little guy. He's very cute, but I'm going to be using the back side of it. This only cost me $1 at the dollar store to buy a piece of wood. This is roughly about 23 inches long by 6 inches wide. And to buy this, it's going to cost me more at the lumber yard. So I'm going to go ahead and use this. I will be removing this little welcome piece, and I probably will be cutting off a little bit of the top because there's staples on here, and I'm sure it's going to leave holes. So I'll probably just put it on the table saw and cut it across. And then I'm going to go ahead and either paint this or I'm actually going to try to stain it first, a brown color, and see if that works. I'm hoping that it will look nice. If not, I can go ahead and paint over it, not a big deal. So the first thing you're going to need is a piece of wood or MDF or something like this sign that we can repurpose. And like I mentioned, got it at the dollar store. And then I picked up, two of these styrofoam pumpkins at the dollar store. I am going to be spelling out the word fall on the pumpkins, but I'm going to be cutting these in half, so I only needed 2. And then because I'm going to be using it's going to be 4 halves, I only have 2 of the little stem there, and I would like to put something at the top, so I'm not sure if I'm going to use the stems or if I'm just going to go ahead and use some greenery and some little berries or whatever. So I have just pulled these off of some current pieces of greenery, so this was something that I didn't have to purchase. But if you do need something like this, the dollar store has plenty of this kind of stuff as well. And then I picked up this beautiful ribbon. I believe I shared this in a haul. It has the burgundy farmhouse truck and this buffalo check. I'm going to be making a ribbon for the top of my sign. I purchased this Rust-Oleum chalk paint for another project. So instead of getting a different paint, I just went ahead and used this to paint my pumpkins, but you can just use any paint that you have. This actually is a linen white. I don't want my pumpkins to be a bright white, so I'm going to be using my brown paint here just to kind of give it a little bit worn look, just to tone that white down a little bit. But you can paint your pumpkins any color that you want. It doesn't matter. Just giving you some ideas. And then of course you're going to need a glue gun. And then I have here, I printed this out on my Cricut. It says fall. We're going to put 1 letter on each half of the pumpkin. And again, if you don't have a Cricut, that's okay. The dollar store has stencils. They also have these kind of little printouts there as well that you can get and just cut them up and put them on there. Or you can freehand the word, it doesn't matter, or the letters I should say, it doesn't matter. So you're going to need that. And my friends, that is it. It's very few supplies, and like I said, the bulk of this came from the dollar store. Even my glue sticks came from the dollar store. So that's all the supplies you're going to need. Now I'm going to take you back a couple days where I cut my pumpkins in half and spray painted them and have them ready because I needed plenty of time for them to dry. So let's go back and then we'll come back and put this together. All right, my friends, these are styrofoam, so I'm hoping I can just use a regular knife. I'm going to take this painter's tape just as a guide. The stem is kind of in my way, so I don't know if I'm going to need, I think I'm going to need to pull this stem out and put it back in. So I think I'm just going to cut it in half. Yeah, we're just going to go ahead and cut it in half and use the this as a guide. So let's see if this works, friends. Oh, I think it will. Okay, you can see you can clean that up easily, but look at that, nice and flat. So the goal is to just lay it there like that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, cut the rest of these up off camera, and then we're going to take them outside and spray them up. Alright my friends, I started spraying my pumpkins and didn't realize I wasn't recording. So anyway, I put one coat on. I just have it in a box and sprayed. It's pretty wet. So I'm going to go ahead and let that dry, and then I'm going to come back with another coat and finish it up. And hopefully the second coat will cover it all. Alright my friends, so as you can see, I still have around the edges. So I just put a little stick in here, and I'm going to go ahead and spray paint this now like that. I did put 2 coats on it, and it pretty much seemed to have worked. I did miss those edges. Oh, you can't even see what I'm doing. I'm just getting around those edges that were flat to the box that I couldn't get. And go ahead and there we go. A little black line in there is like a defect in the pumpkin, but it's okay. It's not going to hurt anything. So that's what it looks like. I'm going to let the others dry a little bit more before I finish spraying around the edges. And then I'm going to let these dry overnight before we finish starting our project. Alright my friends, so we're going to start with staining this piece. As I mentioned before, you do not have to stain this at all. The wood, you can go ahead and paint it if you want, but I thought I'm going to go ahead and just throw some stain on there. Quickly soaking in nicely. I did cut it easily on my table saw. It cut right in half for me, so that was nice. Now it actually is taking the stain really well. I'm really pleased with that. I like that color a lot. And I'm just using a paper towel, nothing fancy. Get the sides a little bit. I really like the way that's staining. I've never tried this before. And it's really working well. There we go. And I think I might like to have it darker in some spots than others, so I think I'm going to just kind of rub it in certain spots and see how I'm doing that, just to give it I like the way that looks. It has a wood look to it. Awesome, look at that, and it's drying really quickly. Look at that. When I rub it back on, it dried very, very quick. So friends, that's it. As you saw, it took a few seconds, but like I said, you can go ahead and paint this if you want to. And there we go. So now let's go ahead and move on and start working on putting our pumpkins on. Alright my friends, so I had laid this out just to get an idea of where I wanted them positioned before I started painting. And then once I laid these on here, I noticed that I really liked the contrast between the pumpkins and the wood there. So I just decided not to distress my pumpkins. I think that's going to look really nice with the ribbon, with that wood and the ribbon, and with the orange on the pumpkins. The orange lettering on the pumpkin. So I've decided not to distress them. I think I'm okay. So if you were thinking of distressing, as I mentioned earlier on, lay it out first after you paint it, because I'm glad I did and didn't paint it before I laid it out. So now I know that I actually liked that better. So now I'm going to go ahead and put my stencil letters on. If I can get this paper peeled off. Oh my goodness, I am really struggling. So I'm going to go ahead and put my, now I have not glued these down yet. I'm going to go ahead and put my letters on the pumpkins. And as I mentioned before, you can get letters. You do not need to have a Cricut to do this. You can get these letters, something similar to this, at the dollar store, or you can hand paint them, or you can get a stencil and stencil them on. Okay, my friends, there we go. So we've spelled out the word fall. See if you can see that. And then I'm going to head and hot glue this down. And then we'll go ahead and finish it off. All right, my friends, so now I'm going to hot glue these down. I have these positioned exactly where I want them. I'm going to make sure you have the same amount of distance between the two pumpkins, or between each pumpkin. I want to make sure I leave plenty of room up top so I have space for my bow up there as well. So I'm going to start with the bottom, work my way up. Let me go ahead and just plop down a little bit of hot glue around the edge in the middle. Make sure it's centered. Then we're just going to press and hold for a second. There we go. Go ahead and do the next one. Okay. We'll do our A. Just hold it there for a second. And then the F. Okay. Oops, off a little bit on that one. There we go. All right, my friends, so I've decided I'm going to go ahead and use some of this greenery that I have here and hot glue some of that on. All right, my friends, the sun is like really coming in the kitchen now, and it's making it a little bit harder to film this. So I am going to show you where I'm at right now, and then I'm going to wait, go ahead and probably get dinner started, wait till the sun moves away, and then I'll go ahead and finish making the bow and putting this together. But I did want to show you real quick how it looks so far. There we go. You can see the little berries in the greenery. I hope you guys can see that. It's always hard when you have white. Can you see that? And then I'm going to put a nice bow up there. So that is where we're at right now. And then, like I said, I'm going to go ahead, get my bow ribbon cutting on, and we're going to show you how I make my bows. All right, my friends, so I have my ribbon here. Excuse me, I did forget to mention earlier that I use floral wire. You can just tie a regular bow if you want. That'll work also. So what I'm going to do, and this ribbon does have wire in it. I have this folded over. This is going to be one of my tails, and then I just fold that over like that. Make a little loop. We're going to go ahead and another loop, and then another loop. And I'm going to go ahead and leave that out like that, so I have 2 loops on each end. I'm going to pinch it in the middle, and I'm going to take a piece of wire. I'm going to go ahead and tie that up. Like that. Then I'm going to take this bow, this piece here, and just pull it over the front like that. See how that comes like that? Then I'm going to fluff out my bow. Okay. I'm going to trim a little bit of this off since we're going to hot glue this down. Now that I have it nice and twisted. Have that. Hoping you guys can see what I'm doing. You just have to fool with it. We're going to glue it down, and then we're going to go ahead and fluff it out and trim it up. So I'm just going to, I think I'll just start on the back here. Just put a nice generous glob of hot glue. I'll put that down right in the middle. Like that. Then we're going to go ahead and cut this off. And cut it straight off first. I'm going to fold it in half. Like that. And then I'm just going to cut on an angle. Make that little dovetail. I think that's what it's called. We're going to go ahead and do the same for this one. Just fold it in half and then cut it up on an angle. Oops. That. I'm just going to fluff my bow. Like I said, when it has wire in it, it's a lot easier to manipulate and fluff it up. And what I like to do is take my ribbon here and just kind of put some little pleats in it like that. Just gives it a nice little finished look. Just kind of folding it up like that, my friends. Let me put the camera up so you can see. All right, my friends, so there you have it. Is that adorable or what? Was that easy and so inexpensive? Like I said, just about everything here came from the dollar store. The only thing I didn't get from the dollar store was making my little Cricut letters. But like I said, you can paint those, but you can buy these letters at the dollar store. You can buy stencils and paint them on, or you can freehand it. I did have a little bit of a challenge putting the letters on just because the pumpkins have that indentation in them, so it was a little bit challenging. It wasn't overly hard, but just a tad bit. But everything else, like I said, these here berries and this came off of a current piece of floral that I had. I just didn't use, but you can get stuff like this at the Dollar Tree. So you can make this whole thing for $1, $2, $3, $4, about $5 total. And it is just absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in place, and then at the end I'll give you a quick overview so you can see the whole thing. Now, with that said, I just wanted to show you real quickly an easy way to dress up a wreath. This wreath here I keep on the inside of my door, to my front door, and then I usually change it out for the seasons. And I was at the dollar store, and I shown this in a haul. I fell in love with this, but I would never put, this would not withstand outside. And I absolutely do not like glitter whatsoever. I just really liked this. So my thought is to remove this truck off of the, see how easy that popped off? Just like that, friends, popped right off. Take my wreath, hang it on the back on the door, and I am just going to tuck this right inside, just like this. Now friends, look at that. Is that adorable or what? It literally costs, and you can actually hot glue a little piece of rope if you wanted and tie it to the wreath, so that way, you know, if like I'm going to be putting it on a door, so this may fall out with opening and shutting the door, so I probably will end up doing that. But is that adorable or what? Looks like the pumpkin truck is going through down on the farm with all the bushes around. I just think it turned out cute. I used a wreath that I already had and the little pumpkin from the dollar store. Is that cute or what? Simple, easy, and you can do this for any holiday. So I thought that would be a cute idea to share with you. So friends, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I would greatly appreciate it, as it does help me out. And don't forget to hit that little bell, because it will notify you every time I have a new video coming out. And don't forget, you can follow me at Mama Needs a Goal over on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I would love to hear from you guys. I love talking to you all. And if you end up making this, let me know how it turned out. So friends, thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Bye.